Now, I'm doing this video today on Larry Wheels. As some of you may have noticed, Larry Wheels looks very different to what we are used to seeing. Now, if you've noticed this difference in Larry Wheels, this is because he's come out saying that he is no longer using steroids, which can be a little bit confusing, maybe a little bit misleading, because he still is going to be on TRT since his body can no longer produce enough testosterone. In TRT, it still can be considered a steroid. Now, if you don't know who Larry Wheels is not only one of the biggest names in fitness, but also one of the most accomplished. He has competed as both a bodybuilder and a powerlifter and has dominated in both sports. And I believe that Larry Wheels is actually still top 5 all time in raw powerlifting, which is insane. He's up there with names such as John Hack, Taylor Atwood, and Jamal Browner. Now, Larry Wheels came out saying that he was going to be stopping his steroid use. He came out saying this about a few weeks ago, which I do respect because Larry Wheels has always been open about his steroid or PED use. He actually came out with a video about 4 years ago talking about his whole experience with steroids. Now, from what I remember, Wheels never really talked about exactly what steroid or PED he was using, but he did say he has been on plenty, which maybe had an effect on his body being able to produce enough testosterone naturally. Or maybe I'm being naive and he just still wants to be on steroids and he's just using the excuse, my body doesn't produce enough testosterone, so that he has a valid reason to be on a steroid like TRT. I don't know, but you guys let me know what you think and your opinions on that in the comments section. Now, TRT, I did try to get a definite answer on this, but I couldn't find one. If any of you have it, also leave that down in the comment section as well. But I couldn't find whether or not TRT is considered a steroid or not, or an anabolic steroid, because I know there's differences in certain steroids and certain PEDs, and sometimes a drug might give you the effect of a steroid or a PED, but for whatever reason it still wouldn't be considered or classified as a steroid. When Larry came out saying he was not going to be using anymore, he did specifically say anabolic steroids, so maybe TRT isn't considered anabolic. Like I said, if you guys have any more information on that, definitely leave that down in the comment section. Also, tell me whether or not you think this makes him natural or not, because when somebody says they're coming off of steroids or PEDs and they're saying they're going natural, I would expect they're not taking anything that can enhance their performance or their physique past what they can achieve naturally, and TRT can do that. So to me, like I said, it's a little bit confusing. It might even be a little bit misleading. Now, regardless, I just wonder how true the statement is that his body doesn't produce enough testosterone. I don't think Wheels is lying. I just wonder the reason why his body isn't producing enough testosterone. Did him experimenting with PEDs and steroids do more damage than good? And also, would it have been possible to go completely natural? What would have happened if he didn't go on TRT? And what I'm saying, it's a bunch of what ifs and whys, and I'm just asking a bunch of questions. That's just me being curious. I know that some of you guys watching right now probably have some insight in your own opinions as to what's going on. Definitely tell me about those, because I do want to hear different perspectives. But to what's actually happening and what we're actually seeing, we're seeing a much leaner version of Larry Wheels. He went from about 300 pounds to 240 pounds after he stopped using steroids. And there is some strength loss there, obviously. If you lose 60 pounds, you're going to lose some strength. But he hasn't lost as much strength as I thought he would. And in a video posted by Lifting Vault, they show a clip of Larry Wheels banging out 495 on the bench for reps when he was using steroids, and they compared it to a clip of when he stopped using steroids. Now, you can definitely see a difference. You can definitely see that Wheels has to push a little bit harder through sets in the clip where he's not on steroids, but considering the 60-pound loss and getting off of PEDs and steroids, it's still very impressive that he's still able to press that amount of weight. Now, personally, I'm not 100% sure as to why Larry Wheels even got on steroids in the first place. I mean, I know as far as he has explained and been open about, while I personally don't understand the situation, I also know that I don't know what Larry Wheels was going on at the time, what was going on in the life of Larry Wheels at the time, and I'm pretty sure he had it pretty rough coming up. And sometimes when you have a rough life, you have to make certain decisions to get a better outcome. And it may not be the best, the most, I guess you could say, morally correct decision, but sometimes it's a decision that's going to put you in a better position. So I don't understand it, but I also know that there may have been some things going on where this is a decision he had to make. And one of the reasons I don't completely understand is because he's still so young. He's only 27 years old. He's only a few months older than I am. And I just don't know how good of a thing it is that TRT is needed for Wheels at this young of an age. The other thing that I mentioned too is Larry Wheels is still top 5 all time in powerlifting and raw powerlifting. And I would have loved to see him continue in his powerlifting career, maybe even see him chase that 1,000-pound deadlift and compete against guys like Browner, who he has worked with in the past. That would have been exciting to see, but maybe we'll see it in the future. What I will say though is Larry Wheels, he actually looks realistic now. I know that might sound bad, but Larry Wheels at 25, 26 years old, I mean, pretty much throughout his old 20s, he did not look human, nor did he move like one, and he did not bleed like one either. I don't know if you guys remember this, but there's a video of Larry Wheels deadlifting, and usually you'll see people's knees buckle on the deadlift. If they bleed, they'll bleed from the nose, somewhere that makes sense. But Larry started to bleed from the chest, which to this day, whatever explanation that they gave for it, I still don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. But guys, that is the end of the video. What this means for Larry Wheels, I think he's just experimenting. I think he's just trying to push himself, which is always a great thing to see. Even at the top, he still wants to see what more he can do. But like I said, that is the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you do like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys later.